Welcome to Who's Your Mama, a podcast focusing on tomorrow's future, which are our kids, educators, teachers, parents, all encompassing with the goal of understanding that our brain is a muscle that we can exercise to control the speed in the direction that we want. Let's go, y'all. The time is now.
So, Robert Alexander, welcome to Who's Your Mama?
Oh, thank you so much. What an honor.
Oh, it's an honor for me as well. So, you and I share many things in common about one being community and how energy is contagious. I talk a lot about energy hygiene, brain health is life health, and you wear many hats, as specifically creatively and just in life. So I could introduce you of all the things that I know about you, but I think in the spirit of the time we have, at least for now, and hopefully you'll come back on again and share more. How would you describe some of the hats that you wear in your creative life, and how and why you chose to focus on that?
Ooh, you're such a great question, Oscar. So for me, I don't like to be everything to everybody. Kind of like a handyman. I like to wear the right hat for the right job, even if it's simply showing up in community and saying yes versus yes. So at the end of the day, community is a really important thing to me. So without being everything to everybody, one of the hats that I do wear is I do have a music wellness business, and community and fostering community is a really important thing to me. And I realized designing these personalized pieces of music, it's not necessarily like a catch-all because everybody is different. So yeah, I also tell people
Personalized, would you call it personalized producer and alchemist curator?
You could probably call that curation is a good thing, because I definitely have like a music background that goes down like a whole like different rabbit hole. Being signed to a couple of different labels and at the same time doing DJ sets, and especially with what I'm evolving, will definitely culminate. It does culminate everything together. So being an audio alchemist, that's the title that I have for my Life Rhythms business. And at the same time, when I'm working with people one-on-one and they ask me, well, what kind of frequencies do you work with? Well, I work with your frequency. Well, what do you mean? It's like, well, it's not here, it's here. So everything I do is intuitive based. It all starts with a conversation because everyone's going through different things at every given moment.
I love that. So what would you say a thing or things that sparked you to invest in this direction in life?
During that time, originally, there was a mentor of mine who, she was working with a lot of different people. And she was saying, you're working as a graphic designer in this full-time work. Maybe you can be a coach. And I'm just like, just me, coach. I'm good at helping people and doing different ways. I just didn't want to label myself that. And then there was another mentor who would bring me through guided journeys and what have you. And I was like, wait, I record these journeys. And at one point, I was actually connecting with somebody else, like a friend of mine. And I was walking him through guided journeys. And I was like, wait a second. There's all these different people that are having like downloaded guided meditations. And there's people that are doing sound baths. And I'm not dismissing any of this. This is like at the end of 2013. So I was like, wait a second here. Like, I don't drink. I don't do substances in terms of just anything like ayahuasca or, anything like that. Again, not poo-pooing any of it. So I realized, why wouldn't people want something, like a sober guided journey with something that's designed specifically that goes behind their voice, because I'm capturing it. I'm capturing them in a state where they can remember, or maybe not, because they're so much in a deepened state. So I realized, okay, you know what? If I'm offering a drug-free solution, if I'm offering something that really helps one really tailored into, it's like designed for their mind, body, and spirit, whatever they subscribe to in that way, why wouldn't they want something to help them evolve? And I remember at one point I was going to be doing an event, and I was thinking, wait a second, there's this whole 5 rhythms like movement, and it's completely unrelated. I'm like, wait a second, life rhythms, like your life, your rhythm. Why wouldn't we have something that's like designed to help something culminate in their mind, body, and soul, and maybe even like bring events together and doing different things in that way? So really, I wanted a curated system, something designed for a person, so they have something that they need because there's no point providing like one thing that everyone's going to get exactly that from. So why not work with somebody? Why not walk them through a guided journey? And after the Life Rhythms name, like a year later was when I was deciding to integrate that music component into it. I mean, music's been a helpful component for me. Why wouldn't it be a helpful component for other people too in ways that work best for them?
Absolutely. I love that. And I speak so much about in every area of my life that I think that music and humor are therapy for the soul. And one of the many things that you said, but one that I wanted to ask you to dive a little bit deeper into is you talked about the 5 rhythms. Can you expand on that?
Sure. I mean, I'm probably going to butcher because it's been a while. So there's actually this movement called Five Rhythms. And Gabrielle Roth, I think she was based like in New York and she passed away years ago. And she had this movement. And have you heard of ecstatic dance before?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that may have potentially catalyzed that movement. So there's like the different phases of the five rhythms. So when I thought about that name, like I know we were talking about, music and how music comes to us and things like that.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about five rhythms, being a movement, I was like, wait a second, five rhythms, life rhythms. So it was like that
The synchronicity
organic
between the
unfoldment of
two
the
of them, how it's
inspiration popping
intertwined.
up.
Yeah.
Say it again?
The synchronicity and how it's all intertwined.
It all showed up out of nowhere. And I was like, wait a second, your life, your rhythm. Everyone has their own rhythm. Everyone has their own frequency. So that's where the catalyst of the name came through for the music. Sorry, for the brand that I have. At the same time, again, the music component came in a little bit later. So Five Rhythms ultimately was like the name itself, not necessarily the movement. The name itself brought in like, wait a second, that's really cool. Whoa, those two words, life and rhythms, just blended well together because everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own rhythm. And that's where the five rhythms component came through. But ultimately, it's something entirely different. It's where the five rhythms within that whole movement is a whole different thing.
I love that. And how did you find that as you were going through that rhythm within yourself? How did you find that impacted you as you were creating life rhythms?
I've realized for myself, no matter how conventional I've attempted to be, that I'm unconventional. It doesn't mean I'm 3 fries short of a Happy Meal. So the thing is, and that might have been like an Alan Watts thing or something. So I realized for myself, I mean, no matter where I've gone to find home, it's like I'd rather go to a buffet. I'd rather take different pieces of that buffet. And I realized not everything is so cut and dry for everybody. So why not go to the buffet? Why not have bits and pieces? Because the buffet may change tomorrow. So at the same time, why not go to that buffet and take what we like then? If we've already had plenty from that previous buffet, then why don't we just, change things up? So I realized, not everybody is going to be interested in one specific thing. Very cut and dry, day in, day out. So why not work with where they are, see where they would like to be? So with my life, I realized I like diversity. I don't like to necessarily be too all over the map. I like to have something more curated. I want something tailored in a way where it can be adjustable. If I have limited options, then why not work with the options that I do have? So I realized why not create something that's really adjustable, adaptable, that has guardrails,
And I
and it
think when
still
we
caters.
realize that we're open to understanding ourselves the way you just expressed, we're not as limitless as we think we are, or as narrow as how far we can expand in all areas of life.
Exactly.
And so that then leads me to, as we're getting closer to coming to conclude at least this episode, um, if you could tell, because I do think there's got to be benefits of getting older in life, with your understanding of how you've grown, if you could tell your younger self something, what would it be and why now?
Really quick, how old's the younger self?
As old or young as you feel it would be relevant to that.
Yeah, because when I was looking at a video of a younger self, my younger self probably didn't even know what from what. At that younger self being like a kid, I
It
would go to
doesn't
that.
have to be defined at any age, just what would you want a younger of yourself to know now?
If you're feeling low, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to really connecting, you know, there are people along your life that will lead you along this way. So if you're feeling lost or stuck, rest assured, along your journey, like you will find yourself, even if you're feeling lost. And if you are found, people are there to celebrate you.
Oh, I love that. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. It resonates with me. That's why I think it
Oh,
doesn't matter so much of putting an age necessarily on it, but younger self and how you've realized, you know, certain things about yourself if you've gotten older. And I definitely think that's beautiful and it will resonate with anyone that's listening to it. And I know it resonates with
oh,
me. So thank you for sharing all of that. It's been an honor to have you on here. And I think you have a lot to share. So I believe this won't be the last time we see you on here, and definitely watching. If there's anyone that wants to get in touch with you for different, the many hats that you wear creatively, what would be the best way to go about that?
it's a really good question. I know with Life Rhythms, basically the website is lifeRhythms.us.
Right.
So there's ways to be in touch that way, but I'm sure, people are like, who is this guy? And there's ways for us to connect through the interview.
Okay.
Always more than happy to say, hey, I heard you, and I'm more than happy to hear them back.
Well, I hear you. Thank you for being on here and giving me the opportunity. And I know a lot of people will really not just listen, but hear you as well. So, as we always say when we sign off on Who's Your Mama, let's go, y'all. The time is now.
Well, let's go, y'all. The time really is now.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again, Robert Alexander. Thank you for coming on Who's Your Mama?
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Who's Your Mama, and I look forward to collaborating from a community standpoint for the next episodes.